Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Elizabeth.
And welcome to
There's Something Wrong with the Elizabeths.
So this was the second showing.
Yep.
Still have a lot of questions. There's a lot, it's hard. With Showgirls, there were a lot of things that you got to see in the background or that you heard that had meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I'm still watching this looking for those little hidden things and the hidden meanings, and I'm not finding anything. Like, one of the things I like to do is pay attention to music in movies, and sometimes they're like cluing you into things. And when we meet the healer lady, who's not the healer lady, whose name I can't remember, Doris Day's Secret Love is playing in the background. And it's like, once I had a secret love, and it, you know, my secret love's not secret anymore. Now I can shout it from the highest hills. I even told the lily daffodils. It's all about like secret and then not being secret and being able to share how much you love. That doesn't mean fucking anything. Like, never comes up again. Like, we don't care about the secret love. There's no secret love. Like, why was that put in there? It's a choice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, we were talking about, there's a lot of scenes where there should be humor.
Mm-hmm.
It should be funny. But they're playing this really serious music underneath. Like, what are your thoughts? Give me
I want to say there's a possibility that Secret Love song means something. I don't know what, but I want to assume maybe there's something intentional, like, because it is, every person's role in the story is a secret for reasons that I can't explain. And everyone has a secret purpose. I don't know. I agree with you 100% that the mood music or whatever, the scene that we talked about already where he's supposed to be childish, has a very serious sound happening, and it's unsettling because it's like he's gonna murder them any second now, or we're gonna find out that like the milk was poisoned or something. I mean, it's very odd. One song that I do really like is in the party scene, they have a band that they have hired, and you hear one line from this band and it's so good. I'm gonna look up at some point this song and who the band is and try to find it, but it's a cover of, it's like a punk rock cover of Maggie's Farm by Bob Dylan, and they just start off like, I am not gonna work on Maggie's Farm no more, and I really like it. I don't think that the song has any meaning though, except that M. Night Shyamalan is a big Bob Dylan fan. He thinks of himself as Bob Dylan because both are artists who are rebels and who have been misunderstood at times during their career. And that's the only significant, is that it's just M. Night Shyamalan loving Bob Dylan.
Which I could get. I mean, Bob Dylan has a lot of songs where there's a lot of strange morals, there's a lot of weird symbolism that are not immediately clear.
Just like this movie.
Just like the movie. Speaking of something that's not entirely clear, I'd like to ask, what does babies on the half tip mean to you? Babies on the half tip. I asked Lizzie during the movie, what does that mean? And she goes, oh, I found this very interesting research. Would you like to share with us your research on babies on the half tip?
So it's one of the trivia points in on the like IMDb, and I just thought it was so hilarious. There's a bit of trivia. It just says, the meaning of, quote, babies on the half tip doesn't become clearer from viewing the extra features. Which is not a trivia point, it's just a complaint. Yeah. So the stoners, or the smokers are having a conversation about, like one of them uses the term reekage and is like, that's not a word. And he goes, of course it is. And he explains it, and then they're talking about how language just comes about from someone saying it. And then one of them says,
blim blam.
Blim blam.
Blim blam.
And they're like, that's stupid.
But
then it gets used more in the movie because it just catches on. But the actual term that they try to invent, that they all seem excited about, is babies on the half tip. And then it gets used again randomly in a poster because people are just going to start using that phrase more. And I think they're just trying to invent another phrase, which is usually not how that works. It's not people sitting around trying to create it. It's just something that's used to describe something. If I had
stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yes, stop trying. It's not gonna happen. Babies on the half tip.
But what does babies on the half tip mean to you?
So to me, and just gonna use it how I see it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
He says it. Paul Giamatti gets pissed off because they have been putting their clothes in the garbage disposal.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that. You're only ever gonna try it once, and then it's gonna break your garbage disposal. No one keeps putting their clothes in.
Stop putting
your clothes in the garbage disposal. That's only a thing you can do once, and then it breaks, and then you're like, I won't do that again. But they keep doing it apparently, and he gets mad. And also, there's no smoking in the apartments.
But he doesn't say stop smoking in the apartment. He says stop smoking.
Yeah.
Which I thought it was funny before because they were smoking in the apartment, but they were reaching out the door to put out their cigarette butts. Like that was a loophole in the rules. And this movie is all about rules.
Yeah. Anyways, he gets really mad and he has a little tantrum and he storms off. And then they're like, baby's on the half tip. And they're like, yeah. And so I think maybe it's supposed to be like a baby throwing a tantrum because it's like off tilt.
Okay.
Or like off kilter or like pissed off about something. I don't know why it's in the movie in the party poster.
Maybe because it's going to be like an off-kilter party.
Yeah, like a rager. We're gonna be throwing baby tantrum. I don't know.
Which it is a rager. That's another question. I have so many questions about this apartment complex because it looks like 13 people live there. But then they throw a party and there's 100 people there.
People will come to this party.
Yeah, and then at the pool, there's tons. Everyone that we know is in the pool. And I've lived in apartment complexes. She's lived in apartment complexes. There's usually like 2 people at the pool.
Yeah.
On a random day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another thing that's making me miss Showgirls, which I never thought I'd say, is Showgirls used camera angles beautifully. Like Showgirls,
beautifully framed.
Yeah, just had beautiful framing and beautiful use of mirrors. And there's a really good opportunity here for the use of a mirror, and the mirror is fogged over, so we don't get to use the mirror. And I think they just did that because otherwise it would show the camera and they're being lazy.
Yeah.
But Lizzie, can you tell me some of your thoughts on the framing or lack thereof in this movie?
This is possibly the worst framed and worst shot movie. That like actual movie that I know legit people worked on that I've ever seen. It's terrible.
Yeah, not like an independent movie. Like this was major Hollywood dollars, major players. Like
it's supposed to be like a fantasy. They're supposed to, right? Like we've got like monsters and things in it, and I don't know. It's just people's faces, just close-ups of people's faces all the time. And then sometimes there are times when it's supposed to be an important scene. Like, Van, or whatever his name is, the Night Shyamalan character. Vic. He sees Story for the first time. And it's supposed to be like the revelation.
Let's do it. Okay. So I'm M. Night Shyamalan. And she's Paul Giamatti. Okay. And look, I see Story. And I'm like, Story, and then
yeah, first of all, so his back is to us a lot of the time, which there should be a shot from the other side where we can see his face. Secondly, when his face is looking, it's totally out of frame. Yeah. And we can only see Paul Giamatti, who's really just kind of standing there, like, watching this happen. And his face is out of focus. Like, the thing that we've been talking about that's supposed to happen, he obviously is trying to act, and we should be seeing things changing in his face, but it's out of focus. And then, yeah, there's a scene that you pointed out at the very beginning where Mr. Farber, the film critic, is introduced to young Soon, and he looks at her like she's a fucking alien. And it's the first time we see her, and we don't see her.
You don't see her face. You only see the back of her.
Yeah, and so we've never seen young Soon before. She could look like anything. And we just see her back, and we see that she does dress, like, kind of interesting, I guess, like, kind of outrageous. But he is so horrified by what he's like. And Elizabeth was like, what does she look like?
Yeah,
like,
I thought she was going to be, like, have, like, a traditionally attractive body, but be, like, really mutilated or something. Or, like, have a beard.
Or something.
Because he's just, like... staring at her face the whole time, and we don't see her face, and then it means nothing.
It could be shot from the side, and we could see that, like, maybe he's looking at how inappropriately she's dressed, or like how bright her something.
Yeah. Or there's a scene where Paul Giamatti is talking to Story for reading his diary and talking to him about his murdered family, and all you see of his head is like this.
We get nothing.
Like, please don't tell everyone else about my family. They don't know they've been murdered. Like, and it's really robbing us of Paul Giamatti's face.
Yeah.
Because it is one of the highlights of this movie.
So I'm going to say, actually, for my Eat-Lon.
Oh yeah, what is your Eat-Lon?
My Eat-Lon, I'm going to say, I wrote down at one point, this was actually in the last viewing, I just wrote down Paul Giamatti's face. And that's the one thing I'll say about how poorly framed this movie is. It benefits so much from the actors that are in it. Because any lesser actor, when you've just got their face and it's the whole scene, like, would just fuck up everything. But the fact that it's Paul Giamatti's face, even the Mr. Farber actor who's like in Friends and in the Christopher Guest movies, you know, that actor, Bryce Dallas Howard, she does, I mean, luckily it's on great faces that are really good actors and they're able to do something with it, because otherwise it's just garbage. But I mean, Paul Giamatti, his face, his mannerisms, his voice. First of all, we've discussed this. I love Paul Giamatti. Like, I just think he's so cute. And yeah,
he has a physicality.
He can
that's
get some.
Really, yeah, he can get it.
He can get it easy.
Paul Giamatti, we are both married, but call us.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I love his face, and I, at least with the bad framing, I get to see more of it super up close and see just how great of an actor he is.
And the framing is atrocious. There's a lot of scenes where like the camera ends here. You don't even see the whole head of the person.
Face.
The camera ends here. Like, how bad is that? Like, I'd have to, it's like this.
It's awful. Awful framing in this whole movie.
Yeah.
What was your Eat-Lon?
My Eat-Lon this time.
By the way, I wrote down so much the last viewing. I wrote hardly anything this viewing because we
were able
talked
to talk
so much.
Yeah, I think as we get into it a little later,
Yeah.
we should do maybe another viewing where we can't talk because we're forced to like write down stuff.
Yeah.
I think my might be one that was kind of from the last time, and I made her pay attention this time. Paul Giamatti's face after a scene which is supposed to, I think, be funny, where he's like passing the phone back and forth between the mother and getting a translation more about the story. We find out about the Tartutic for the first time. The three monkeys that share one name for a reason. Well, we find out about the Tartutic.
Do they say their names? I mean, do they know English? Did they tell someone at some?
Yeah, how do we know?
Call us Tartutic. Like, what?
Anyway, I mean, they're not even called the Tartutic.
No.
Like, because that would make sense. It's like a species.
Yeah.
You know, like the Narf. If there's only three of them and they haven't told anyone their names, we can call them the Tartutic. You know, it's like there's three of them and we just call them that.
Also, when the Korean woman is talking about Narf, she doesn't
never
use
says
the
Narf.
word Narf. Why is there an English translation for a made-up word?
Yeah. But she says what sounds like the word dyad, which is what I think Narf should be called.
Because you're smart.
Thank you. But also Narf is so hard to take seriously. Did you ever see the Aquaman movie?
No, I didn't.
So there's a thing in the movie called the Ocean Master. And I wasn't supposed to, but I giggled every time they said it. It was like, maybe he is the one. Maybe he is the Ocean Master.
That's amazing.
It's really great. So like, I just keep waiting for the moment that I start taking the word Narf seriously, and it's not coming. But
so
anyway,
he's learning about the Tartutic.
yeah, he's learning about the Tartutic, and there's just a moment, and I think it's supposed to be funny, but it doesn't land as humorous. But he makes a face that is how I feel, where he's just like, I don't even do it. I'm not Paul Giamatti, but he's just like.
He's just been told that they're like the most dangerous thing in the world.
He's supposed to look worried.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like,
oh, but instead he just looks really exasperated, like, really?
This fucking story.
This story.
I
Tartutic.
understand why no one has told this story for generations.
It's a really bad story.
Convoluted as fuck.
Yeah. So that would be my Eat-Lon.
Again, Paul Giamatti's face.
Paul Giamatti saves this. And we were talking about, when we watched Showgirls, the completely unnecessary rape scene at the end, I was worried that we would eventually find it funny, or we would eventually become like immune to it, and that never really happened. Like throughout 10 showings of it, every time it was really difficult to watch, every time. And I'm kind of feeling that way about Paul Giamatti's scene where he's healing her.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of hope it never gets funny. I hope it never gets easier. And you pointed out the dialogue's really not that good.
It's not great.
It's not a well-written scene.
No.
But it is a...
It makes no sense to anyone who has not had the benefit of like watching him this whole movie. To the other people in the room, the things he's saying are just nonsense.
Yeah. Well, and even to us, it's still not...
It's still out of nowhere.
It's still not written very well.
No.
But he acts the crap out of that scene.
Again, I think if the movie were better developed and better done, we could infer for ourselves what he is experiencing and why it is so purposeful and meaningful for him to be healing someone who's dying.
Yeah.
We could infer that if it were a better made movie. But it wasn't made well enough, so he has to tell us. Healing you is like healing my dead family. But he sells the shit out of it.
Yeah.
He is such a good actor that the scene is actually, makes you want to cry. I mean, I stopped talking and was like,
yeah, we both like shut up and were just watching.
Because it's really, he does such a good job. He's doing the most.
Paul Giamatti, do you need to see a chiropractor? Does your back hurt from carrying this movie? Oh.
But also, there are a lot of really talented people in this movie.
Yeah. No,
and
I mean,
woefully misplaced in this shitty film.
Everyone's really doing good work.
They are.
Really doing good work. We've already started to appreciate background characters.
Even like Freddie Rodriguez, who, I mean, and we both like him as actors or whatever, is like, I think his role and his character, you like his character, I think it's stupid as fuck, but he just is such a good actor that he's helps.
I mean, I think we'll talk about Reggie in a future viewing because my love for him is only growing. But I wrote on my first viewing, I admire Reggie's dedication to science. He is a character who is only working out one half of his body. He states there is a 4-inch difference from bicep to bicep. He's only working out one half of his body. So one half is like a giant bodybuilder and one half is just like a normal guy.
You would want to know the difference between my thighs?
Yeah.
He doesn't tell us.
I admire that dedication to science. And I agree with you. What is he discovering? Maybe we don't know. Sometimes you don't know what answer you're looking for until you look for it. Maybe we'll discover something amazing from his dedication.
Maybe if he was working out the different sides of his body differently, like one he was doing low resistant reps and the other he was doing like more weight, we could learn something about muscle development or something.
Like, maybe we can still learn something. Like maybe we can learn something about like the veins and how they get blood to your heart on one side of your body versus the other, there's answers to be found.
Well, we're not going to learn anything because he's about to be murdered by the Tartutic.
Oh yeah, I think they do kill him. There's just a lot of questions I have.
So many questions.
There's so many questions. Yeah, I think
maybe the next viewing we should just write down every question as it comes to us.
And then maybe just like read some questions.
Yeah. I think at one viewing, and I haven't gotten there yet, but maybe later when I'm more delirious, I think I'm just going to literally write down everything I hate as it comes to me. Yeah. But I think maybe here we just ask our questions. The questions we have for M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
That never get answered.
Do we want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do that now. And also, you had a good idea. We're going to time... Did you want to...
Oh, yes. Okay. So I really like when I'm watching movies where they hold their breath and they go underwater to hold my breath and see what I can do. So I think on this next viewing, we are going to hold our breath while Paul Giamatti dives underwater. And then and it's actually really clever, he unscrews a pen and uses the pen as a straw to suck air from a cup that's been trapped under the cave. We're going to use straws and just suck in air while he's doing that, stop after he stops, and see what we can do.
So dedicated.
Yeah. Because we can't eat dog food this time.
No.
Oh, she never eats.
Well, she's very waif-like.
Yeah. No. Born sexy yesterday trope.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I was over it before we started. Okay. I'll just start on my questions and you find all yours.
Oh, I was gonna do it for next. As
Oh,
we
for the
watch
next one, we just write the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I already have so many. Okay.
I have a few too.
Number one, and I'll just do one. Just do one. Where did she learn to fold a shirt? She takes off the shirt. She's never worn clothes before in her life. She takes off the shirt to go into the shower. She puts it on a stool and it's perfectly folded. She doesn't even know she should wear pants, but she knows how to fold a collared shirt. Which, like, I feel like a lot of people who wear collared shirts couldn't do that good a job folding them.
She does a good job.
Where did she learn to do that?
Maybe we'll find out.
We'll find out in...
I'll bet there's a detail.
Third viewing.
Third viewing.